Alright guys, Ideogram just dropped a brand new image generation model. We're talking about Ideogram 2.0, and trust me guys, this completely changes the game. This new model is gunning for the top spot, ready to go toe-to-toe with the big players like Midjourney and even the freshly launched Flux AI. In this video, we'll be taking a deep dive into what makes Ideogram 2.0 a game changer. Okay, so here's the deal. Ideogram hasn't always been well known in the AI community. Their first model was good, but certainly not good enough to get the attention it deserved. But with Ideogram 2.0, they're not playing around anymore, guys. This model is seriously impressive, and having tested it out myself, I can certainly say that it holds up quite well against the other leading models in image generation. Now, one of the biggest things Ideogram 2.0 is on about is a major upgrade in realism. If you're into creating images that look like they could fool your own eyes, this is something you'll definitely want to check out. But aside from the photorealism, they've also packed in a bunch of new features and presets that make it easier than ever to create exactly what you're imagining. Whether that's a 3D render, an anime-style character, or a detailed graphic design with some actually correct text. Now, to really appreciate what Ideogram 2.0 is doing here, we've got to take a quick look at the landscape. Over the past few months, we've seen a ton of developments in the AI image generation space. Flux 1 just launched and is now the go-to generator for Grok and X, and is actually the best model that you can use for image generation so far based on my own tests. Then, there are also the long-tried and tested models like Stable Diffusion XL and Midjourney, which, despite being relatively old according to the pace at which AI is progressing, are still pretty impressive. So yeah, the competition is fierce, and it feels like every other week there's a new player trying to grab our attention. But I believe Ideogram 2.0 isn't just trying to compete, it's aiming to outperform. Which is interesting because in their official announcement, Ideogram straight up said that their new model is outshining the competition in several key areas like image-text alignment, how well the images match the prompts, and even how accurately it can render text within the images. And if you've played around with AI image generators before, you know how tricky that last part can be. Text rendering has always been a bit of a weak spot for most models, but not anymore, it seems. Ideogram 2.0 might just be the go-to model for a lot of artists out there. Now let's quickly take a look at all the extra stuff Ideogram 2.0 is offering. They've introduced 5 presets that make it super easy to get the style you want. First, there's the realism preset, which makes your images look incredibly lifelike, like they were snapped with a camera. Then the design preset is perfect for graphic design because it makes sure your text and visuals are spot on, without any weird glitches. The 3D preset, however, is all about giving your images a polished, computer-generated look. Other than that, anime fans will definitely love the anime preset, which nails that manga-style vibe. And finally, there's the general-purpose preset. This one's your go-to for just about anything. It's versatile and can adapt to whatever kind of prompt you throw at it, making it a great starting point for any creative project you have in mind. So yeah, these presets are a game changer, especially if you're not into spending hours fine-tuning your prompts. They've also introduced a color palette control. Now this is super cool because it lets you dial in the exact colors you want in your images. So if you're trying to match a brand's color scheme or just have a specific palette in mind, you've got a lot more control over the final product. This is huge for designers and anyone who needs precise color management in their AI-generated images. Let's talk a bit more about that realism preset because honestly, this is where Ideogram 2.0 really shines, and one of the big selling points here is how lifelike the images can be. And that's not an overstatement, guys. Trust me. Textures on some of these images look so lifelike, like you can reach out and touch them, and human features like skin and hair are incredibly detailed as well. This is something that's going to be a huge draw for people who need realistic images, but maybe don't have the time or skills to create them from scratch. But I've said this before, realism isn't just about making things look real, it's also about making things look right, you know? And that's where the improved image text alignment comes in. With the new model, what you type is pretty much what you get. The model is way better at understanding the nuances of your prompts and generating images that match your vision. This is a big deal because, let's face it, we've all had those moments where the AI just doesn't get what we're asking for. Ideogram 2.0 aims to eliminate those frustrating moments. And here's something that really caught my attention: text rendering. If you've used AI image generators before, you know that getting decent text in your images can be a nightmare. You might type out a simple phrase and the model gives you some weird jumbled mess of letters, but this model, not so much. They've really improved how the model handles text, making it a solid option for anyone who needs images with clear, readable text, whether it's for a social media post, a design project, or even just something fun. Now, there are some other cool features Ideogram has rolled out with this update. They've released a brand new iOS app, and don't worry Android users, they've got an app coming for you soon too. They've also launched a beta version of their API, which means you can now build with Ideogram 2.0's tech, bringing high-quality image generation into whatever project you're working on. And to be honest, their API pricing is super competitive. Oh, and before I forget, they've also introduced something called Ideogram Search. This lets you browse through over 1 billion images that users have generated with Ideogram over the past year. So if you're ever stuck for inspiration, you've now got an entire library of creative work to browse through and spark some new ideas. Now, I've briefly talked about my experience of actually using Ideogram 2.0, but there are just a few more things that you'd want to know before diving in. First off, the freemium model. Ideogram 2.0 is free to use, but with some limitations. If you're on the free plan, you can generate up to 20 images a day, split into 5 batches of 4 images each. That's a pretty decent amount if you're just dabbling or working on smaller projects, but if you're a power user, you might want to consider upgrading to one of their paid plans. They start at $8 per month, which gets you more flexibility and a higher image cap. And if you're really serious about your image generation, there's an unlimited slow generations plan for $20 per month. That's pretty competitive, especially when you compare it to something like Midjourney, where you're looking at $10 for the basic plan and $30 for unlimited slow generations. So yeah, Ideogram is positioning itself as a more affordable alternative. But other than the price, the user experience also is designed to be super intuitive, especially if you're not a fan of the more technical prompt engineering style you might be used to with other tools. With Ideogram 2.0, I guess their main focus was on making things as simple as possible without sacrificing quality, which is a big win for anyone who's more interested in the creative process than the technical details. Now, before we wrap up this video, let's see how Ideogram 2.0 holds up against the newer models like Flux One, which has been getting attention through its integration into Grok and X. Well, from the initial tests and user feedback that's been trickling in, it looks like Ideogram 2.0 is holding its own pretty well. In fact, when you use the realism preset, it seems to match the performance of Flux One, which is impressive considering how much hype Flux One has been generating. But if you're someone who cares a lot more about personalization, Midjourney still has the edge with its customization features, but Ideogram 2.0 is still a good choice. The new color palette control and the various presets give you a ton of creative freedom without needing to dive into complex prompt engineering or use additional tools like style transfer or LoRa's, so it really comes down to what you value more: ease of use and affordability, or deep customization and power features. So, is Ideogram 2.0 worth it? Definitely. It's easy to use, delivers high-quality results, and is affordable. With improvements in realism, better text rendering, and features like color palette control, it's a strong contender in AI image generation. Plus, with the new iOS app, developer API, and Ideogram Search, it's a versatile tool for both pros and newcomers. Whether you're deep into AI art or just exploring, Ideogram 2.0 is worth a look. It could become your go-to creative tool. And that's all for this video, folks. If you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate that. If you liked the video, why not like and subscribe? It's sure to help the channel and motivate me to continue doing what I do. If, on the other hand, you didn't like the video, please let me know in the comments below so that I can improve on my mistakes. As always, you've all been fantastic. Stay tuned for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.